Welcome to Game Devs Play Games, where you can watch games and practice game design. We are here today with
Moonlighter.
This is the closed beta, so we get a little bit of a sneak peek at, like, the beauty of this game. I backed this on Kickstarter.
Another game he didn't tell me about.
I think I did.
I'm pretty sure you didn't, because I would have backed this.
Yeah, probably.
All right. Well,
this is a game made by Digital Sun. Is that what Google Phone told me? I think that's right. We're just going to jump in. So this is a
action RPG with shop keep elements. That is exactly how it is described.
Yes.
Like, quote verbatim.
In a distant world, strange ruins appeared, mazes full of strange items and enemies from other worlds. The dungeons, that's how they were called by the people who approached to burgle them. Rhinoka was the first name given to the village that germinated around them. Two types of people founded Rhinoka, heroes and merchants. The former looked for fame, the latter looked for gold. Now, 70 years later, dungeons are not as prosperous as they used to be, and life is harder than ever, especially for the oldest shop in Rhinoka, Moonlighter, and its youngest owner, Will. That's us. This guy. This guy. Little dude, you seem all beat up. Maybe you just have too much in your backpack. Oh, is that a control? Controls? You're gonna dare tell me? Alright, let's go. So we can run around.
Break stuff just by running into them.
Yeah.
Good.
Very Enter the Gungeon style, like, setting props in the scene.
Yeah,
they don't do anything. They're literally just there for fodder, which is kind of awesome. We have a dodge roll.
Oh, do you dodge all bullets when you dodge?
We
look at that.
We can jump over chasms. We can dodge through enemies. We can dodge through bullets. This is a pretty straightforward tutorial. And we have a broom as our weapon.
Yeah.
Look at these little slimes. Ow.
Should dodged.
I should have. Ah!
Why are you not dodging?
Dodging is for weak people.
Good. Well,
weaklings. And then if you see, so those little things I'm collecting are elixirs, or potions, whatever they actually are called.
They're not healing you. I thought they were little health things.
So we have a little count at the top. If I hit right trigger, I will heal. So they don't auto heal, which is super nice. For once a game lets you, like, stockpile your healing items.
Makes sense for a merchant.
Yeah, right?
I also find it funny that you're breaking things with the broom and not sweeping anything.
I know, right? This isn't Dust Force, though, so I mean... So we're just going to go ahead and quick move all of those to my inventory.
They weren't all next to each other? That is a strange choice.
I wonder if it's part of the random generation of, like, there's like a 90% chance that a cell will be empty. Either that, or maybe it's just to, like, give it some flavor of, like, this is just strewn about inside the chest.
Yeah. Either way it works. I mean, especially if you're just collecting it all, it doesn't really make a difference. I guess when you start getting more picky about what you're, I
might have crashed the game. Oh!
Alright.
Woo, this isn't beta. Just keep that in mind. On a computer that has not run this game yet, so who knows how well it'll play friendly. So if you haven't guessed, the zone is kind of designed to...
Kill you?
Kill us.
I mean, if you use your potions and stuff, it won't. I
mean, that's what I'm gonna do to try to, like, scavenge as much out of here. I don't even know if I think I do keep whatever I scavenge out of this room. That's...
So can you not destroy the blobs that keep, or the portals that keep summoning crap?
I don't think so. I do wonder, though, if there is a point in which these blobs stop summoning things. Because it would be really, like, me as the QA that I am super curious if there's a way to break the start zone by killing everything. I mean, that's just me, but... Also,
it's one of those situations of, it'll be too impossible to break it.
I've had that conversation with many of the designers I work with, where they're like, it's too difficult. No one's going to be able to make it. I can't beat it. And then I, like, beat it my first time, and I break it, and then I log them, like, 10 bugs. And they're like, but
you deserve this. Xenon, poor boy. Even if you are alone, you shouldn't push yourself too hard. Guess it's time to rest.
Thanks, old man.
That didn't make any sense. Just because you are alone, don't push yourself to... I guess it does kind of
It's trying to give us context of, like, he doesn't have family. Like,
I mean...
You're alone. You don't have anyone to look after you. Don't push yourself so hard.
He has been so curious about the dungeon since he was a child. Wow, he even found some Crazy Pete's notes. I wonder what happened to that loony.
Grandpa, get out of my room!
Good morning, Will. How is little merchant doing? Oh, he's doing all right. Me, on the other hand, hurts real bad. Listen, Will. Oops. I know you don't have any relatives here. It is something common among merchant families. We've entered into the dungeons to benefit from items we found there. But in return, they take our life slowly but steadily. Even though a merchant pendant takes you out to the dungeon when you faint. But then damage your body is already inflicted. Use the pendant before things get too serious. And please stop using the broom of yours. It's dangerous to go alone into the dungeons. Take this old sword I used back in the day.
Get it? It's a nod to Zelda.
What's that?
I hate you. Yay, sword and shield.
They're floating. They're floating. Pull them down. Well, that being said, get up and we'll try sell some of the items that you kept in your pocket. Remember, your grandpa was a great friend of mine. I'll try to teach you some tricks he used when selling.
Thanks, tutorial man. Do you think that he's like our mentor then? Since he's not our grandpa?
I think he's like, yeah, mentorish. Like he seemed to know your grandpa.
Look at that. You can actually see yourself in the mirror. It's kind of fun.
Do you think they actually do a reflection there or just like...
Oh, it's totally faked. Like, reflection in 2D games almost never actually happens.
You could do a reverse image when you, in the mirror, when you're close enough to just reflect the image.
How a lot of games do it is they'll take the same sprite and they'll flip it, and they'll put like that center point right in front of the camera. Mm-hmm. So you're technically controlling two players at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, you can even... I know that there's some ways where the games will even do that when you just walk backward.
Oh, yeah.
To reverse the image, they'll just...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Come on, open the shop and so customers can buy those items. Selling an item depends on several variables: customer purchase level, item value, and item demand.
Cool. And I don't think we can place... Yeah, they won't let me access my inventory. But this is tutorial, so... It only makes sense. Potion. 75 coins.
I think it'd be funny if you walked over to the more expensive one and bought that. That expression was the best you can get from a customer. Not too cheap nor too expensive.
Just generally happy.
Pay attention to the visitor's expression when they look at your prices. They'll help you set a fair price for them. What was his expression? I missed it.
It was basically just a smile. So he was like, yeah, I'm pretty cool with this kind of face. Whereas this, which is like double the other price, is like...
That one meant it was too expensive.
Yeah, well, I didn't need your fucking business.
Finally, be careful when selling an item too much. Once you satisfy people's needs for an item, you'll have to offer them a better price. So make sure to make more profit when there's a high demand for an item. Take a look at your merchant notebook. There you can find every info available to items you sell.
So this is probably the most difficult part of the game, is getting this right, honestly. Because, like, sure, we know that we can sell HP potion ones for $75. And we know that 188 is way too much. So it's when you're starting to sell a new item, you have zero context of what it's worth. You just kind of like fish in the dark until you see like when people are pretty just okay with a price. But because prices also fluctuate, it means that you're playing this game with every item all the time. And I don't know if they change these values after you've already discovered where people's happy points are based on supply and demand.
Are there like skills in the game? Can you get like an appraise skill or something similar to that?
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I've only played like 10 minutes of this, so...
Yeah, fair enough. Wow, look at what time it is. That will be everything from now. You will discover the rest on your own. Make sure you bring back the glory to the shop. I know you can. It runs in your blood. Now, Let's go out so you can try your new sword at the dungeons. At night, dungeons are more dangerous, but are more profitable.
So I guess that means that we could probably go into the dungeons during the day too.
You just said that. You literally just said that.
Interesting.
Oh, did you talk to him? Whoa, did that person just teleport? Oh.
I think they just like spawned in.
Okay. I was like, whoa. Renoka may not be as prosperous as it used to be. Nevertheless, a lot of us come to visit and get a souvenir from the dungeons. Mm-hmm.
I could talk to all these people. They all kind of say the same thing right now.
This is our city.
Yeah, oh yeah, we should explore a little bit.
This is a city. A city is this.
Yeah.
Can you buy from other shops?
I can. So like, she, for example, I can buy more potions from her. I have 75 gold. I could just straight up buy a potion from her for 37 coins. I could trade her one of my slime jellies and then pay 15 gold, which is not a bad deal. How much do I have right now? I have 1, so I'm gonna do that. Not that.
Hmm.
And then, obviously, like, you can get more complex stuff if you get the ingredients. But I kind of like that system of, like, you have a trade value for things if you have exactly what they're looking for, but it also is, like, that restriction to getting the higher tier stuff. So it's not just money can get you everything.
Is this also a good way of trying to value items? Like, is there also a weapon shop and you'd be like, this is how much swords go for? So that when you sell it at your own shop, you kind of have an idea?
Maybe. I haven't actually tried selling weapons, but there's a guy right here, a blacksmith, that I don't even know if he takes money. I think he just looks for resources, but you could probably judge kind of based on the rarity of those resources. And I think these are like... It says staff, so I wonder if we can actually hire these people or if we just like buy their shop. But like for 25,000 gold...
You better be getting something permanent and good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's jump into a dungeon.
Time to go to the dungeon at night. Mm.
So since this game is still in development, I think in their Kickstarter update that they mentioned that there's only like one zone available. So this won't really spoil anything. I think there is a narrative to the game.
Golem dungeon.
There's a golem dungeon.
Golem dungeon.
And I can change. So right now I have the broom out.
Yeah.
And I can change it to the sword. And so with the broom, I have this charge attack, and that was what kind of bogged down the computer. Sword and shield, I can actually hold out the shield. So different weapons in different combos will have different behaviors, which I think is really cool. I think like that's probably not like super complicated, but it adds some diversity to the combat. So I think its strength is that it lets players kind of choose what their play preference is best suited for, which I tend to be more of the dodgy than the shieldy.
Shield, I always found playing... Oh, he tricked you.
He did trick me.
He did the old double whammo. I always found like shield wielders to be trickier, actually, I think, than most tricky characters, ironically. I
think it depends on the game.
It's about timing with the shield.
Yeah.
The dodging, like you can dodge for days. Good angling, son.
These guys, I think, are a really good example of where... oh, there were rocks there. So these guys, I think, are a really good example of where I think the enemy design is, like, kind of clearly still in the works. Because those ranged guys, there's no good way to attack them without, like, getting into some really awkward angle. Kind of like what you saw me do.
Yeah.
It's because there's no pause in their firing behaviors. So, like, a lot of the other guys, I can juke them. Like the sword guys, for example. I can hit them, roll away, roll forward, hit them, roll away.
Wait, good. Alright, never mind.
Well.
Ooh.
Open this chest. Get some sweet loots. Oh yeah, we have limited inventory space too. But you will see
But items do stack.
Mm-hmm. To anyone that finds this message, my life is fading out. After fighting that strange creature, my pendant is broken. I am to remain here, locked up in the dungeons. I have studied for so many years. That creature, I saw it once getting out of a room in the 3rd floor through an impressive door, but when it noticed me, it ran away. He left a couple of items really similar to our pendants. Now, I think that creature has come to take them back. Those items, I spent some days studying them. I hope you can find some notes near them with their attributes. Please, to anyone reading this, find that door on the 3rd floor. It is linked to the 5th door of Rhinoka. And
Yeah.
the strange cube is similar to the pendant we merchants use. By a high amount of gold, it creates a portal to get out of the dungeons. But what makes this item really valuable is that the portal created can be used to return to the dungeon without regenerating.
Ah.
Due to its shape, I've decided to call the other item the mirror. This item seems to have been created to work with the other 2 items. As they require gold to work, this item gives the user gold by throwing common items into it. I wonder where I wonder where do this items go?
All right. Beta.
Beta.
Wait, so do you just get the 2 items?
Yep.
Oh.
So I think we already had the merchant's pendant, which is this guy. And this just teleports us out of the dungeon. This guy, I think, is the one that they said keeps the dungeon's seed the same.
I thought he said the mirror did that.
The mirror is what you use to... So I could say, like, let's take these clay pots and just toss them here. Bam! I just got 121 gold from that. So in a way, that kind of gives you a good base of, like, what something's worth. So I could take this vine and drop it here and see, okay, I get 2 gold from that. I probably could sell that for maybe 5, if I'm lucky, 10 gold each.
But the major benefit of that is since you have a limited inventory slot, you can actually sell things on the fly without actually having to drop items in the dungeon. And because that was always really annoying, right? You have so many items that you can carry. Mm-hmm. And so you're just going to have to drop items.
Yeah, and it just sucks to have to, like, leave stuff behind in a lot of games like this. So at the very least, even if you're not selling it for its full worth, which I assume is how they do it, at least I can still get some kind of benefit for finding stuff. Just remembering something's value is the tricky part, which the UI at least makes this easy. So, like, I can hover over this. If I hit right trigger, it'll automatically select this in my notebook. So I could see, like, okay, if I've figured out the worth of this item, I can at least view it here before I scrap it.
Mm-hmm. That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It could be a little cumbersome, I think, but ultimately it's better to have that information somewhere than nowhere. So I'm just going to...
I think the goal is to leave the dungeon now? Is that, like, it trapped you in this room?
Yeah, it basically is forcing me to use the pendant. So I'm going to go ahead and just toss that in there.
I mean, all things considered, pretty good design.
And one more pot.
I assume, though, then the game gives you enough money or enough to use the pendant.
Yeah, that's actually why there were a bunch of items already in this room when we entered.
It gives you the bare minimum you would need to...
Exactly, and I don't think there's a way to, like, use them up inside here, so it means that you can't get stuck in that room. It's pretty important. Players like me, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna go leave the room now. I think maybe worst case scenario, because there was a pit in that room, so you could probably kill yourself. Which, I wonder what the game would do if you do that, because then you're technically skipping tutorial stuff.
Yeah, I mean, right now, it'd probably just generate you where you're at right now.
Yeah, it'd probably spit me back.
Oh, but if you didn't pick up the item and killed yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. QA Chris is thinking now. So this is the
Whoa.
The Vulcan's Forge, so this is where I can...
Back out real quick.
Whoop.
Talk to him.
Whoop.
Oh, for a second there, it said that the price was, the recipe was $99,999.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then when you moved an item, moved back, it went to 4,000.
Oh, interesting.
It's cool. Anyway.
So this is where you upgrade your sword, shield, weapons, all that jazz.
Oh, okay, so it uses an upgrade system.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of like that. Like, too many random items, weapons and stuff like that. Like, I enjoy that, but that was one of my problems playing Diablo, is I would, like, nitpick over every single weapon. I'm like, it It wasn't until like you get more than halfway through the game and you know what kind of character you want to play.
I totally agree with that. And I think that making it based on a component-based looting system allows for you to use those items in multiple ways and not just like get tired of picking up non-common level weapons. And it's the same shit with Borderlands.
Yeah, this is like 99% of the stuff you find is worthless.
Yep.
Well, it's about that time. Question of the day?
Question of the day. I mean, we could talk about...
You want to talk about the tutorials design?
Yeah.
That's a question we occasionally ask when we notice that something has a good tutorial, and so far I think it has.
I agree, and that... Exiting the dungeon, that was literally the last part of the tutorial. So now at this point, we're basically in the full normal version of the game. So I think not only was it concise, but it did a good job teaching us without like letting us break the game and skip things. So
what do you think Moonlighters does to teach its players how to play the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, we're going to be back with more. There's still more to explore, so
yeah.
Until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.